Okay, so we've already done a bit of abstraction actually. The idea of abstraction is to abstract the different sorts of functionality, like we saw in the previous example. We took the switching functionality and the setting functionality out into their own particular places. So we abstracted them out into two separate classes. And this process helps to reduce the amount of code, because you end up, okay, I need to know about what things need to know about the switching. They just need to know about that bit of code, and we can reduce the amount of code because we don't have so much duplication. Anything that needs to know about switching can just inherit from the switchable class, and by reducing code, that might usually simplifies it. Usually, and so abstraction is a core part of object-oriented program design, and there's various people will define it in different ways. So here's a couple of definitions I came across. One is to make models that can be used and reused without having to rewrite all the program code for each new application. I can't remember where these came from, but search the web for abstraction, you'll find lots of definitions. The other one is the process of taking away or removing characteristics in order to reduce it to a set of essentials. So I like both of those definitions. They kind of capture the idea, but there's no one definition of abstraction. Okay, so in order to demonstrate this a bit further, what I'm going to do is look at the pizza app. It's a good abstraction for good subject for abstraction, as the code can essentially be applied to any product being sold with extras. So we've set up this GUI that will allow the user to choose a pizza and some toppings, and then add it to a basket, and then another pizza and some toppings, and add that to a basket. And that's very common in, whenever we buy things. Quite often we're buying a thing with some extra things added, whether you're talking about pizzas or coffee, or even a car. If you buy a brand new car, you would specify the basics, and then you might add some extras like the trim and the music system, or whatever the video systems now they have, don't they? You're unlikely to put two cars in a basket, I guess, unless you're buying for a company. But you can think about this idea of abstraction is, well, actually, we've written this code for the pizza, but it could be applied to lots of different things. Pizzas, coffee, cupcakes, whatever. Things that can be, you can buy a basic thing and some extras to go with it. So what we're going to do is abstract the GUI code in two stages. First of all, we'll basically just remove everything except the most essential references to pizza, and collect all the remaining references in one place. So what I want to do is try and make this GUI code not know about pizzas as much as possible. So it will obviously still have to know about pizzas, because that's what we're going to be selling with the initial version. But actually, in principle, we're trying to collect all that stuff into one place, so then we can remove it and replace it with something else, like coffee. So then in stage 2, we'll create a generic GUI class that will be able to sell any product and pass in the pizza-specific data. So all the pizza-specific stuff is abstracted out of the class into another file, and then it becomes very easy to reuse that code to sell something else. Okay, so the abstraction idea then is, in this version 10, is to replace the idea of pizza with product. Okay, product is just something we're going to sell. And mostly you could do that in PyCharm just by doing Control-Shift-R, and that will find all the words pizza, and you can just do a replace with product. You have to be slightly careful how you do that, because the danger is you might overwrite something that shouldn't be overwritten. But since pizza is quite a specific word, I think it's going to be fine in this case. In particular, in this example, the pizza class is replaced with a product class. Okay, so let's just find the code. So here's pizza 10. There it is. So now I've got a product class. So this is almost exactly the same as the pizza class that we had before in the previous version, pizza 09. But now we say what type of thing it is. So if it's pizza, it was a margarita. If it's a coffee, it might be a cappuccino. Or we get a description about the thing with there's a list of extras. So we get a description about the thing with a list of extras. and we've got a function for adding extras onto onto the product. So that code is almost exactly the same, except that now instead of saying pizza, it says product. The pizza app itself is almost exactly the same as the last version, except that now I put all the pizza stuff. So all this stuff with the buttons, the things for setting the basket content. So let me just remind you how it runs. That's what it looks like. Remember, we can select pizza, we can add it to basket, select another one, add it to basket, and then we've got a button for emptying the basket. So that's what it looks like as it stands. Okay, I'm going to leave that there actually because that'll be useful when we reuse it. But in the code here, which we've seen all of this before, all I've done is moved all the stuff about pizzas up to the top here. So we've got the product name is the pizza. That just determines what is written here and where it says Python pizzas. I think that's those two. That word pizza is used in two places. Where at the top here, where the list of pizzas is, and in the title of the GUI. And then I've got a list of I've got a dictionary rather of the products and their prices and the extras and their prices. And that's the only specific information that this app needs. Okay. So as I said, the pizza-related references are collected at the top of the program, and there's the pizza code. We've just seen that. So the pizza stuff is at the top, and everything else, everywhere else throughout the program, I've referred to things as product rather than pizza, because I don't want my code to mention pizzas anymore. I want it to just mention product, and then when I change it to be coffee, that'll be product as well. Okay. So you only find the references to pizza there, and everything else is products. And here's the product class, which has no mention of pizza at all. This absolutely doesn't mention pizza whatsoever. So that's the GUI, and that's it working. You can see that I've taken as far as possible. I've moved the pizza code into one place, and then in the next example, I'll stop the video here and we'll look at the next example. Then we'll actually just change it over very easily to get another different type of product